Hello, welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast. It is it is actually a quarter after 6 p.m. and I'm actually very happy to go through some Reddit things. And yeah, I do hope, really, dearly hope that it is going to be better than I did yesterday or than it was yesterday, because my talking part was so incredibly shit yesterday. It's actually been really insane. Like, literally, really fucking insane. And, yeah, that's it. So have a nice day. Well, funny boy here. The first one is actually a tattoo, and it says, just got this done today. And it is a piece of, I don't know who it is actually. It could be Epictetus, it could be Seneca, it could be, well, it's not Seneca, but it could be Epictetus, it could be Aurelius, so Marcus Aurelius. I actually don't know, but it says amor fati, which means love faith and love your faith, which means whatever the fuck is happening to you in the now, in the present, be happy with it, even love it. Love whatever is happening to you, whether it is something good, whether it is something bad, whether it is something that you're happy about, or whether it is something that you're incredibly sad about. Be happy and don't wish it to be differently. And I think it is incredible, even though it does not sound that incredible as I'm talking about it in that way, but it is, because it gives you the power of accepting whatever the fuck is happening to you at this certain moment. Whether, as I said, it is something good or whether it is something quote unquote bad. Because if you think about it, if you just accept it and love it and just don't even try to have it differently, then it doesn't really matter whether it is something quote unquote good or some quote unquote bad, because it is just gonna be it. It's just what it is. You're even not gonna label it as good or bad. It is what it is, because you're gonna be fine with it anyway, whether it is something quote unquote good or quote unquote bad. I think it is amazing. But something that I'm seeing, encoding overloaded. What can I do about that? I could close my Photoshop, which is probably gonna do some good. Let's see what I can do there, because I know that the video probably is pretty laggy and fucked up, but I'm gonna see. Well, let's actually close Photoshop and let's see what's happening. Well, everything is broken. And now it is solved. My problem of encoding overloaded. But yeah, no, it's there again, so thank you. I've lost everything, so thank you. Well, could you please go away? Thank you. A History of Cynicism from Diogenes to the 6th century AD. This book, published in 1937, outlines the thoughts, philosophies, and historical impact of cynicism as a philosophical branch, outlining a path for a life in virtue in accord with nature. Public domain PDF book. So apparently there is a public domain PDF book, and if you're interested in these things, in the end it is going to be about philosophy and it is going to be about cynicism. Well, let's actually check out what cynicism actually is, because I don't know. I just know that it is a philosophical branch, as they also call it. Skepticism, doubt, distrust, mistrust, doubtfulness, suspicion, disbelief, incredulity, unbelief, scoffing, pessimism, and so on. Well, I was actually cynicism. I was actually called cynistic, if this is a word. I don't know if it is, but by a teacher of mine, actually. She said, like, well, your humor, I guess, it's been about my humor, I don't know, is very cynistic. I guess it is cynistic, as I said. I don't know, but I don't necessarily believe that it is, like, I don't know, like, I don't associate my humor with something negative or, mistrustworthy and stuff like that. So I don't know. I really don't. But yeah, the psychological causes of social anxiety and how you deal with it. Well, it's actually a very long post, and therefore I'm not gonna go through it. Yeah. You are the only problem you will ever have, and you're the only solution. Bob Proctor. Been thinking a lot about this one lately, thought I'd share. And I think it is amazing. I'm interested in what people said there. Let's let it load. I think it is really amazing. You are the only problem and you will ever have, and you are the only solution. It's fucking true. Thank you. I certainly cannot imagine telling this quote to citizens of Nagasaki the day after the nuclear attack, the people in a Nazi concentration camp, or a COVID-19 patient in ICU. It's actually ICU, but anyway. Also, blaming yourself when you're not at fault is often the problem and the cause of many mental health issues. Yeah, I think it is a very incredibly difficult topic to talk about and argue about, because both sides are so equally important and equally heavy. You know, if you think about like just two weights, and they both are quite the same. Because if you think about it, of course, if you're blaming yourself, then you are the only person who can do something about whatever the fuck it is all about, you know? But on the other hand, if you're blaming yourself for way too many things, you're gonna feel terrible, you know, because it is all about you and you could be doing better, but you're probably not doing anything, or at least not as much as you yourself would like you to do something or to do. And it is a problem. Like, okay, it is good on one hand, but on the other hand, on the complete same like level, it is not good. So I think that it really comes to, I think, understanding things and understanding situations like, okay, if it is raining, well, it's probably not your fault. You know, it's also probably not your thing and you can't do anything about it. But maybe, if something else is happening, you can blame yourself as an act of trying to get into control and get the control back. Because of course, if I'm blaming the Nazis or if I'm blaming somebody else, whatnot, then they can change it. But I can't, because I have to wait till they change it, so that I can be happy, or I can be fine, or I can be glad, or I can be whatever. And this is a problem. This really is a problem, because we don't want to wait. I don't want to wait. I don't want to wait till anybody is doing something. I don't want to do that, because I want to be in charge, because I want to do something about the things that I want to do something about, you know, and not wait till somebody else does something. If you know what I mean, and I hope you do. You're right, brother, but he clearly doesn't mean that way. No offense, what he said is equal true and helpful. Yeah, I know, my comment is certainly out of nowhere. WTF kind of thing. I'm not even sure why I wrote it. Well, actually, pretty nice of him, or her, to just quite admit that. And I'm still having fucking encoding issues. I do hope, though, that the video is not broken or something. It would actually be really not amazing. But yeah. The way anyone reacts to and moves forward from any situation, however unjust or randomly tragic, is their problem. Yeah. And actually somebody is replying, thank you. And I would say so as well. Like, how you're dealing with things and how you think about things is entirely your problem. Of course, some people are going to care about that. Of course, some people are going to ask how you're feeling, and they're going to feel just equally bad because you're feeling bad. But in the end, it is your problem. It is on you. It is on you to figure out how to think about things so that you're not going to be miserable and unhappy. Because I totally believe to a relatively high degree, you know, let's put it like that it really often just comes up to how you think about things. You know, of course, I went through some incredible fucked up shitty times this year. But if I was able to think about these things in a different way and really also make myself believe in these ways, because of course you can think about certain things in different lights and in different shades of gray, but believing it and believing in what you're thinking and believing in what you're saying to yourself is something completely different, unfortunately, you know. Yeah. And so I really guess that it is all about how you think about things. You know, this situation can be bad, but it can also be something good if you think about it in a different way. But then to really entirely be able to just use this different scenario or this different thought, you have to as I said, really admit that this is the case and really believe in yourself and believe in this thought. And not be like, okay, I'm just gonna think positively and then I'm gonna just be happy or something. Yeah, guess what? You're not entirely believing in this thought. And so you're not gonna be happy. Because in your really deep inner self, you think that the other option, the negative one, is actually the one to go with. And so yeah, it's difficult. It really is. Exactly my recent attitude. Check out Eckhart Tolle. This echoes his philosophy. The answer is within you. This is genius. Thanks you. Thanks you, yeah. Thanks. I'm about halfway done reading The Power of Now. I really like it so far. Even if it talks about things that I already know, his perspective on it is so different that I still learn something from it. Highly recommend this book. Yep, every time I'm faced with a huge daunting task, I give myself some time to feel like shit. And then I get up and do it, because if I don't do it, it is not getting done and shit will only get worse. Which is actually quite the case. If you are not doing something about something, then you're gonna feel worse for a longer period of time. Period. Yeah. Let's actually move on. Move on to something different. And I'm still having encoding issues. Well, the audio is gonna be fine. This is something that I know, and if shit is broken, then I'm just gonna use the audio. Unfortunately, but it is what it is. The Man in the Arena, a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. Is it actually Roosevelt? Welt? Whatever. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who who comes short again and again because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spend himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Realizing things. This is my summary. Realizing that, I don't know, like that you did something wrong, that you failed, that you've done something in a good way. Google, people think our new icons are confusing. Adobe, hold my beer. Well, yeah. Well, even though I gotta have to say, the Adobe logos, quote unquote, or icons, yeah, icons, they're icons, not logos. I like them more. I mean, the new Google icons, they are pretty amazing. I like them, but I don't know, there's something to this Adobe style. I think it's just working at my point of view, but anyway. Let's see. If today is not my day, it means I can make tomorrow my own. Earlier, I had a realization. As 2020 is coming to an end, my friends are going for a trek apparently, at Himalayas. I too wanted to go, but it's costing me about 30,000 yen, I guess it is, which is roughly $400. At this point, I cannot afford to spend that much amount for a 5 days trip, as I'm saving money to make capital for my startup company. Since that, I joined gym earlier this evening and just returned from my first ever workout in long years. I decided I'm gonna make more money in coming months, and then I'll go for the trek. But that time I'll be in better shape with good stamina that can help me enjoy the trek even better or even more. All this made me realize that if today is not my day, then I can work towards and make the coming days my own. Stoic shower thoughts, by the way. Yeah. Even though today's day might be fucked up and shitty, tomorrow can still be better. Of course, tomorrow can also be worse, but you can at least make tomorrow a bit better by working today. which is something that I really often think about when I'm just preparing something for the podcast or when I'm designing something and whatnot. When I decide to do a bit more today so that tomorrow is going to be easier or better, but then in the end, tomorrow I also end up doing a little bit more because I'm having more time and I want to use my time. So in the end, it is quite an unnecessary thing to do, for me at least, but sometimes it pays off. Sometimes it really does, because there are some days where I just don't feel like recording. There are some days where I just don't feel like designing something or creating something or making something. And then I don't have to force myself that much because I'm still having something in my pocket. I'm still having something in some folder somewhere on my computer that I have done on some day where I've had more time and energy and maybe even the will to do something. But yeah, this is going to be the final thought, and I really truly hope that this episode is not that quiet, because could be. But anyway, I wish you the best health, of happiness, and all success, and also hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy, and basically means just being a nice person and then being remembered as a nice person, which is a pretty fucking cool thing. 3 other questions that I have you are: why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? These 3 questions. So hopefully going to show you your purpose, maybe even a business idea, which is a pretty fucking cool thing as well. One last idea that I want to give to you is, what could you essentially say to another person that is indeed going to change their life? Because I totally believe from the bottom of my heart that we all can say something and we all can communicate something that is indeed going to change somebody's life. And yeah, with that being said, I'm hopefully going to see you next time. Please take care and bye-bye.